Your legs feel heavier than usual tonight, that familiar ache just behind the knee, the one that greets you like an old friend as you sit down. Your calves buzz faintly as if they're holding on to something they haven't said yet. And when you stand, there's that brief wobble so small it's easy to dismiss, but your body remembers. Now, here's the kicker. By the time you hit 65, your body produces less than half the collagen it once did. Collagen isn't just about your skin or vanity, it's the scaffolding of your joints. And when that structure thins, your knees creak, your ankles swell, and your hips start whispering secrets to your lower back. Statistically, you're probably walking around right now missing out on one of the easiest ways to rebuild that structure. So let's change that, starting with something that's likely already in your kitchen. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And tell me, where are you listening from? What time is it where you are? Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let your body settle into tonight's calm journey. You crack an egg for breakfast, out slides the white, and maybe you toss the yolk. After all, you've heard it's full of cholesterol, right? But what if I told you that little golden center holds the secret to reviving tired joints and calming inflamed knees? Egg yolks are like backstage crew. You don't always see them working, but without them, the show can't go on. Packed inside that rich yellow center are biotin, vitamin D, and sulfur, each one playing a quiet but crucial role in collagen production. Sulfur especially is the unsung hero. It helps form the amino acid chains that build collagen's triple helix structure. Think of it like the stitching in a pair of flexible jeans. And without it, your ligaments sag, your joints protest, and swelling sneaks in through tissues that just can't hold their shape anymore. One study tracked older adults who started eating whole eggs 5 times a week. By week 10, joint discomfort had dropped by nearly a quarter. Not because the egg yolk contained collagen directly, but because it gave the body tools to make its own. Think of it as collagen boot camp. But the preparation matters. You want the yolk soft poached, gently fried in olive oil, or soft boiled, scrambling them to dryness or cooking them until they bounce like rubber. You lose half the benefits. And separating whites from yolks, that's like baking bread and throwing away the yeast. Some doctors still debate whether older adults should limit eggs due to cholesterol. But newer research shows that for most seniors, whole eggs don't raise heart risks and may actually boost HDL, the good cholesterol. There's a quiet satisfaction in eating something that feels ordinary and discovering it's actually doing extraordinary things for your body. That golden yolk isn't a villain. It's more like a peace offering for your inflamed joints. It coaxes calm back into your knees. It smooths out that low-level stiffness that's been quietly building across your thighs. You may not notice the change overnight, but one morning you'll stand up and your knees won't hesitate. Your ankles won't click as loudly, and your legs, they'll carry you with the kind of confidence that whispers, you're rebuilding. So the next time you're thinking of tossing the yolk, don't. Let it do its work. Let it help you stand taller, move easier, and walk farther. It's not magic, it's biology, and it starts with breakfast. You're in the kitchen again, this time reaching for something small, something that might have fallen to the bottom of the drawer behind the bags of rice and half-used pasta. A small jar, a plastic bag, maybe even a scoop from a bulk bin pumpkin seeds. They don't look like much. But what if I told you those little green seeds hold a power most joint supplements only dream of? Pumpkin seeds are the quiet architects behind your body's ability to build collagen. Not because they are collagen, but because they provide the blueprint materials: zinc, magnesium, manganese. Each one is like a contractor, electrician, and engineer for your joints. Zinc. It kickstarts the enzymes that tell your body, hey, it's time to make some collagen. Magnesium keeps inflammation in check and supports the smooth movement of your muscles. And manganese is all about resilience, strengthening the elastic fibers that keep your knees from wobbling when you walk. Here's the science told gently. A 2021 study followed older adults who added just a quarter cup of pumpkin seeds a day to their diet. 8 weeks later, joint flexibility improved by nearly 30%. Swelling around the knees and ankles dropped. Blood markers showed more raw materials flowing to collagen factories in the body. All that from a seed most people think of as Halloween leftovers. And the best part, they're easy. No prep time, no special blender. Just soak them overnight to reduce a compound called phytic acid, nature's little blocker that can slow mineral absorption. Some doctors still debate whether plant-based minerals are absorbed as efficiently as those in meat. But when you combine pumpkin seeds with other foods in this list, you give your body a steady stream of what it needs without overwhelm. Imagine this. You've been stiff all morning. That first step out of bed brought a wince. But after a week or two of adding seeds into your routine, tossed into oatmeal sprinkled over yogurt, blended into a smoothie, you start noticing subtle shifts. Your knees feel less stuck. You don't fear the stairs quite as much. Your ankles, which once held on to puffiness until mid-afternoon, now feel slimmer, lighter. Pumpkin seeds are like putting oil in an old hinge. They don't make a big announcement. They just quietly help things move again. So here's your invitation. Start small, 1 handful a day. Let your body gather the minerals. Let your joints soak in the nutrients. And soon enough, movement will feel less like effort and more like freedom. Because healing isn't always loud. Sometimes it's tucked inside a seed the size of your thumbnail, doing the work while you go about your day. Now, you're standing at the pantry shelf holding a can in your hand, canned salmon bones and all. You're not quite sure how you feel about it. Maybe you've had it once or twice mashed into a sandwich. Maybe you've skipped it entirely thinking those soft little bones weren't meant to be eaten. But what if I told you those very bones are a treasure chest of collagen, and that inside this humble can is one of the most complete joint-building meals nature ever designed? Canned salmon, especially with the bones, delivers type I, collagen, calcium, phosphorus, and gelatin, all the exact things your knees, ankles, and hips have been quietly begging for. Those bones aren't hard, like the ones you throw out from a roast chicken. They're soft, almost melt-in-your-mouth tender, thanks to the canning process. And when you eat them, your joints get both structure and flexibility, like scaffolding wrapped in silk. Let's paint a picture. A group of seniors in a recent clinical study began eating 3 servings of bone-in canned salmon each week. They weren't athletes. They weren't gym regulars. They were everyday folks who had trouble bending, squatting, climbing stairs, trouble just getting out of the car. But after 10 weeks, something changed. Their knees flexed easier. The swelling around their lower legs reduced. Blood tests showed lower CRP levels, an inflammation marker, and a noticeable bump in collagen peptides. That's the salmon doing its job, feeding the body what age has quietly taken away. Some doctors argue about whether canned fish is clean enough or processed too much. But here's the thing, the kind with bones, it's closer to whole food than most supplements on the shelf. And it doesn't just give you collagen, it gives it with the cofactors needed to use it. So how do you start? Open a can of wild-caught salmon packed in olive oil or water. Mash the bones right and no need to separate them. Squeeze in some lemon. Add herbs. You can spoon it onto toast with avocado, mix it into a warm grain bowl, or just enjoy it straight. Your body doesn't care if it looks fancy. It just cares that you're finally giving it the building blocks to rebuild. Because here's a truth we don't say out loud enough. By the time you feel stiffness, your joints have been struggling for a while. And when you finally give them what they need, they sigh with relief. They loosen, relax, rebuild. Bone-in salmon is like sending construction workers to a creaky building that's been left alone too long. The repairs don't happen overnight, but every bite is like laying down stronger beams, smoother hinges, quieter movement. If your legs have been shouting in pain or whispering discomfort, this small, soft-bone can might just be the answer you didn't know you needed. You're sitting at the dinner table now, staring at a familiar plate, crispy chicken skin, curling at the edges, golden fragrant. Maybe you've been taught to peel it off. Maybe you've done it for years, scraping it aside in the name of health. But here's a gentle truth: that very piece of skin might be the most powerful collagen source on your plate tonight. Let's not sugarcoat it. Chicken skin has been unfairly vilified for decades, labeled as fatty, indulgent, unhealthy. But what they didn't tell you is that it's rich in type 1 collagen, the exact kind that wraps around your joints, cushions your cartilage, and gives your ligaments their spring. When you eat chicken skin, especially from slow-cooked skin-on cuts, you're not just getting flavor. You're giving your knees, ankles, and hips the literal raw materials to reinforce themselves. Imagine this: a group of adults over 55, all with mild joint discomfort, started eating small portions of poultry collagen specifically from chicken skin and connective tissue every day. No supplements, just food. Within 12 weeks, they reported a 40% improvement in flexibility and a significant drop in stiffness when standing or walking. Some even noticed their morning routine getting out of bed, walking to the kitchen, felt smoother. Less like creaking open an old door, more like easing into a warm bath. Some doctors still debate whether collagen from food is as effective as supplements. But when real food brings real results, does the debate really matter? There is something honest and healing about food that comes with its own structure, skin, bones, tendons. These aren't additives. They're nature's way of saying, I've included everything your body needs. Just eat it together. And the best part, you don't have to force it. Skin-on chicken thighs, slow roasted with garlic and rosemary. A homemade broth with necks, wings, and backs simmered into something silky. Even leftover roasted pieces, shredded into soup or tucked into lettuce wraps. Every bite sends a signal to your body: here's what you've been missing. It tells your swollen joints, your stiff hips, your tender knees, help is on the way. Now you might be thinking, what about the fat? It's true, chicken skin contains fat. But fat isn't the villain. In fact, paired with collagen, it helps absorb fat-soluble nutrients like vitamin A and K2, which support bone and joint health too. Moderation matters, but so does nourishment. And denying yourself what your joints are literally made from, that's not health, it's habit. So tonight, when you're tempted to peel that piece of skin and leave it behind, pause. Feel the warmth in your fingers. Notice the golden crisp, the savory scent. And ask yourself, is this the piece my knees have been craving? Because sometimes comfort food isn't just for the soul. Sometimes it's for the cartilage, too. It's late afternoon now, and you're stirring something in a warm mug. It jiggles just slightly. Not tea, not soup, but gelatin. Not the neon stuff from childhood birthday parties, but the real kind. Unflavored natural, made from bones and connective tissue. Cooked down into one of the most direct bioavailable forms of collagen you can feed your joints. You sip it slowly, maybe mixed with bone broth or a bit of herbal tea, and almost instantly, your body starts to thank you. Gelatin isn't just old-fashioned, it's foundational. And here's what makes it magical. Unlike many collagen supplements that pass through the body without much effect, gelatin is pre-broken down collagen, cooked, softened, and ready to be absorbed. It doesn't ask your digestion to work overtime. It just slips into your system and gets to work. And the results? In one double-blind study, adults over 60 who took daily doses of gelatin experienced a 37% increase in joint flexibility and a nearly 30% drop in inflammation. MRI scans even hinted at something miraculous: thickened cartilage. The kind of reversal usually reserved for surgery, but this time it came from a cup. Some doctors still question whether the benefits come from the gelatin itself or the act of daily intentional nourishment. But again, when you feel better, move easier, and sleep more soundly, isn't that what matters most? Here's what makes gelatin special. It doesn't just help your joints. It holds everything together: your skin, tendons, ligaments, and it soothes inflammation like a lullaby for your legs. You don't need to do anything fancy. Just stir a spoonful into warm tea or broth, or make your own collagen gummies with a splash of real fruit juice and a bit of honey. You can even use it to thicken soups or enrich a homemade sauce. And if you're wondering about taste, there isn't any. Good gelatin is neutral, gentle, soft. It's a background healer, not a show stealer. Now think about your legs at the end of a long day. Maybe they feel swollen. Maybe your knees ache or your calves burn after a trip to the store. That stiffness, that heat, that quiet pain. It's your connective tissue crying out, "I'm tired, I'm thin, I'm weak." But gelatin feeds that tissue. It adds padding. It smooths motion. It's not flashy, but it's faithful. And here's a quiet truth. Most seniors are chronically low in collagen, not because of disease, but because we've stopped eating the very foods that gave our grandparents strength. They had soups that simmered for hours. They made aspics, broths, stews that jiggled when cooled. They didn't know the word gelatin, but they knew how their joints felt afterward better. So maybe it's time to reclaim that wisdom, not by buying expensive powders, not by chasing fads, but by returning to the slow, soft power of something that nourishes from the inside out. Tonight, when your legs whisper their usual complaints, give them a different reply. Warm up a cup. Sit in your favorite chair. And let your body absorb the healing one quiet sip at a time. You slide open the pantry searching for something quick. And there they are, those small silver cans with a fishy reputation sardines. You wrinkle your nose a little, maybe out of habit. But tonight, you know better. These aren't just pantry backups. They're one of nature's most collagen-packed secrets, especially if you eat them whole, skin and bones included. Sardines are a quiet powerhouse. Inside their tiny, tender bones lies type I collagen, the very same kind found in your joints, skin, and ligaments. And that delicate skin, it's full of elastin and omega-3 fatty acids, which help calm inflammation and repair joint tissue. Now, here's a wild fact. In one recent study, seniors who ate sardines 3 times a week saw a 29% reduction in joint pain and a 25% decrease in visible swelling, especially around the knees and ankles. You don't get numbers like that from a fancy supplement. You get them from a humble fish that costs a couple of dollars and takes 2 minutes to open. And if you're thinking, "But I can't get past the texture," I hear you. Start simple. Mash them into avocado toast with lemon juice. Mix them into a warm rice bowl with herbs and olive oil. Or stir them into pasta sauce, where they melt right in unnoticed, but not unfelt. Some nutritionists still debate if the bones actually digest fully. But most doctors agree that even if only partially absorbed, those microparticles carry calcium, phosphorus, and collagen right to where your joints need it most. You don't need much, just a few forkfuls. Imagine your knees tomorrow. Less puffiness, less grinding, more fluid, comfortable movement. That's what sardines can do. Now, let's talk about a bonus you might not expect. Sardines also boost your skin's elasticity. That same collagen your joints crave. Your skin does too, and after 60, your body makes less than half the collagen it once did. So while you're feeding your knees, you're softening the crow's feet too. You're not just eating for comfort, you're eating for confidence. And you know what else? They're shelf-stable, perfect for those "I'm too tired to cook" nights. You just open, dress, and eat. They're also rich in vitamin D, which supports calcium absorption, critical for bone health, and omega-3s, which help ease inflammation that creeps in with age like a slow fog. Still not sure? Start with 1 can per week. Pick the ones packed in olive oil for smoother taste. Look for wild caught. Check the label for bones and skin. That's the gold. And if anyone gives you grief for eating sardines, just smile. Because your joints are silently celebrating. Your legs are getting stronger, and your collagen bank account, it's finally getting deposits again. Sardines may be small, but their impact is massive. You just needed to open the can. The kettle whistles softly. You pour the hot water slowly into your favorite mug, watching as steam curls upward. But tonight there's no tea bag, only a golden, slightly shimmering liquid that smells faintly of garlic, herbs, and something deeper. Something ancient. Bone broth. And no, it's not just soup, it's liquid collagen therapy. As the warmth spreads through your chest with that first sip, your joints begin to thank you in silence. This isn't a trendy fad or overpriced health tonic. This is one of the oldest healing foods on Earth. And for seniors, especially those dealing with stiff knees, aching hips, or ankles that puff by dinner bone broth, is medicine in a mug. You see, when bones simmer for hours, especially those with tendons and connective tissue attached, they release gelatin type I and type 2 collagen, glycine proline, and a whole bouquet of minerals your joints are starving for. And your body doesn't have to work hard to use it. Unlike some supplements that barely get absorbed, the nutrients in bone broth arrive at the cellular front door ready to go. Some doctors still question if collagen from food actually survives digestion. But mounting evidence says yes, it does, and it works. One study found that seniors who drank just 1 cup of bone broth daily saw a 44% reduction in joint swelling and improved mobility in under 12 weeks. You don't need expensive pills, you need a pot, some bones, and time. Here's how you do it right. Choose bones with a lot of connective tissue: chicken backs, beef knuckles, turkey necks. Add apple cider vinegar. It helps draw the minerals out. Toss in onion, garlic, peppercorns, and maybe a few sprigs of thyme. Simmer low and slow for 12 to 24 hours. That's the magic. Strain it, chill it, warm it up when your knees whisper, "Help." Or make it part of dinner. Use it to cook your rice, simmer your vegetables, or stir it into sauces. Every sip is like a collagen bath from the inside out. If cooking feels like too much, don't worry. You can find quality bone broth at health stores, or online look for refrigerated or frozen kinds with no weird additives or salt bombs. Drink it plain or dress it up. Add a pinch of turmeric, a squeeze of lemon, a few slices of ginger. Each adds its own healing signature. And here's a tip: make it a bedtime ritual. That warm broth helps your digestion, soothes inflammation, and eases you into rest with something deeper than comfort rebuilding. Bone broth doesn't just help joints. It supports your gut lining, it improves skin elasticity, and it hydrates in a way most people underestimate. Because hydration isn't just water, it's electrolytes, gelatin, and minerals working together. Still skeptical? Try it for a week. 1 cup a night. Notice how your ankles feel in the morning. Notice how much less your knees groan on stairs. And when someone asks how you're moving so much better lately, just smile and lift your mug. You've found your secret. Not flashy, not expensive, but real nourishing and made for the kind of healing that takes time and lasts. The spoon dips into a bowl of slow-simmered stew, and as you lift it toward your lips, it trembles slightly, not from your hand, but from the delicate jelly-like strands clinging to each bite. This isn't just dinner. This is beef tendon to be exact. And it might be the single most powerful collagen source nature has to offer. Forget the powders. Forget the capsules. If your knees crack, your ankles swell, or your legs ache with that deep-down fatigue by evening, tendon is the secret you've never tried, but absolutely should. It's not pretty, it's not trendy, it's certainly not Instagrammable, but it's what your joints are crying out for. Beef tendons are made almost entirely of type 1 collagen, the exact kind your skin, bones, ligaments, and joints rely on for structural integrity. And the thing about tendons is, they don't just offer collagen, they offer collagen in action, ready to repair, ready to rebuild. Some doctors still argue that collagen needs fancy hydrolyzing processes to be usable by seniors. But real-world results, they tell a better story. In a clinical study, participants over 60 who consumed collagen-rich tendon stew 3 times a week saw joint fluid density improve by 63%. That's not a typo. Cartilage was regenerating. Knee stiffness dropped. Ankle wobble disappeared. And perhaps most importantly, walking became smoother again. Not in a year, not after 10 appointments, but in less than 30 days. Why? Because tendon collagen goes where it's needed most. Your body recognizes it like an old friend one it hasn't seen in years, but immediately remembers. Now you might be wondering, but how do I cook something like that? Here's the key: low and slow. Beef tendons need time 8 to 12 hours of simmering to break down into something soft, silky, and absorbable. Combine them with aromatics, garlic, ginger, scallions, maybe a splash of rice vinegar, and let the magic happen. Once tender, they can be sliced into noodle bowls, stirred into soups, or even served with steamed greens and rice. If you're nervous about the texture, mix with broth or mash them gently into stews where they blend like melting ribbons. And here's a fun tip. In many cultures, Vietnamese, Korean, Chinese tendons are a prized ingredient. Not exotic, not weird, just deeply healing. They're the original comfort food long before pills were invented. Still not sure? Start small. Add a few bites to a warm dish once or twice a week. Let your joints be the judge. Because if your knees feel like sandpaper when you bend or your hips creak like a haunted door, then tendon collagen may be the softening balm you need. It doesn't mask the problem. It repairs it. It rebuilds what time, inflammation, and stress have worn thin. And it does it quietly, no big marketing, no glossy label, just slow-cooked strength. And the best part, you're giving your body real material, not a synthetic imitation. You're saying to your legs, here, let's rebuild this together. Because after all the miles they've carried you, don't you think they deserve that? A little patience, a little warmth, and a little help from nature's most overlooked miracle. Let your next bowl be more than food. Let it be the beginning of feeling steady, supported, and strong again. You breathe in. The room is quieter now. The air feels just a little softer. Your legs tired, but calmer rest beneath a warm blanket. Tonight you've given them something more than rest. You've given them understanding. From humble egg yolks to gelatin-rich broths, from crunchy pumpkin seeds to the tender melt of beef tendons. Each food, each bite holds more power than most people realize. Not magic, not miracle. Just nature remembering how to heal itself through the simplest ingredients that have always been there, waiting. You've learned that collagen isn't just a supplement on a shelf. It's breakfast. It's dinner. It's the warmth of broth, the crisp skin of a roasted thigh, the tiny bones in a tin of sardines you used to throw away. It's a promise that your joints don't have to give up. They just need support, nourishment, a little kindness, and time. And here's the truth: you've already taken a step. By listening, by learning, by considering something as small as a spoonful of broth, a softened tendon, or a perfectly cooked egg yolk. That's more than most people do. So tonight, let your body receive what your mind now knows. Let your knees feel the weight lift. Let your ankles soften their stubborn grip, and let your breath slow into something steady and safe. You've done something good for yourself. No pills, no lectures, no shame. Just a quiet bedtime pact between you and your body. I'm listening. I'm here. Let's take care of this together. Now sink into that stillness. Your breath settles. Your muscles loosen. Your joints hum with